leave the little holder off to the side. And take a seat on your ball. We'll face the lengthwise of the mat. Either way you want to face is fine, just so you have some foot grip on the mat. On the inhalation, tip the tailbone up and just start to walk yourself down. Slowly letting your back arc. Arms around, they're hanging alongside the ears or at T. Just kind of play with where the chest feels most open. And you can start to straighten the legs or bend the knees. And you'll notice how that sensation of stretch shifts from the groin and lower back into the chest and shoulders. Recognizing that if your hip flexors are tight, you're going to probably feel a little bit of what feels kind of sharp in the lower back, and that's just that really frozen stiffness. So feel free to lift the hips and almost kind of tuck the tailbone and set the hips back down. That'll at least give you a little bit more length, but the hip flexors stretching here is definitely be your best friend. And then noticing the arms, almost like you're making a snow angel. You can usually find the attachments around the pec and shoulder that are a little bit stiffer, a little bit tighter, and sometimes it's even a little asymmetrical. So nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. All day long you're folding forward. Open yourself up here. More breaths. And now slowly, like you're squatting, start to bring yourself upright. Almost as though your hips are rolling to the floor. You're going to start coming up with your spine. Eventually roll your hips back up on top of the ball. Open the feet as wide as your yoga mat. Nice long spine sitting on top of the ball. Hinge from the hips. Exhale, work to fold forward. Just go as far forward as you can. Now hands can brace to the ankles or keep walking your arms out in front. Maybe feel free if you want to use those blocks. It's kind of a nice little compromise. Feel free. But focus on lengthening out through the heart, drawing the shoulders back, getting into the hamstrings. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Roll yourself up, seated nice and tall. Hips come forward, you go back into extension. Let the spine arc, let the head rest on the wall. Lengthen through the lower back, rock front to back from fingertips to the toes. Playing with your spine from tailbone to crown. And as you find those tight nooks and crannies, those areas of the body that just feel super stiff like taffy, hang out there for a few breaths. See if you can start to notice those tissues start to soften, start to pull apart, start to release. The body has an incredible memory, not just for what we do in life, what we think, what we say, but for how we move or don't move. Keep breathing deeply, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Any stress or tension that you may have brought with here today, as your body starts to soften and loosen, just allow the mind to also do the same. bring yourself up. Roll it on top. All right, feet go wide. Nice long spine. Focus on keeping the length through the crown of the head and feeling the tip of the pelvis as you come forward. So we're trying to get into that stiff lower back. Hands to the ankles, keep the length through the spine, or feel free to walk the hands out. Even move the hips a little right to left. See if you can wiggle into a little bit more space. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Now on the next inhale, bend your knees. Almost like you're sitting on a chair, the edge of a chair, and let your torso fall between the legs. Now arms can just hang down beneath the shoulders. Hands can walk out in front as the head hangs, or you can go even for a little chest expander if you feel like it's appropriate. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Inhale through the nose, just keep your breath flowing. Exhale through the nose. Hold that intention for your body to create space. All right, inhale, roll up. Just kind of readjust your hips on the ball. You can actually face me if you want now. And if you feel more comfortable with your feet on the mat, just roll it back. If it doesn't bother you where your feet go, you can really face wherever you'd like. All right, feet are going to go a little bit wider than the outer hips. Toes are actually going to point out a little bit. And just sit on your ball where you feel like you're not going to roll off of it. Hands on the thighs, nice and tall. Take that left shoulder, push out the left thigh, and dive the left shoulder in. Now look over the opposite shoulder, a little supported catcher stretch. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, gently use the hand against the thigh as you work to rotate the ribcage, shoulders, and the neck and head. Breathe. Inhale, come up through center. And then the opposite side, you're going to press the right thigh out, really exaggerate. It's like a sloppy stretch. Draw the shoulder in, and then keep turning the head. So remember, the head, the neck, our bladder hangs from fascial strings that attach up into C1 and C2. So if your head is lacking good rotation, it's hard to turn the head one way or the other, pay attention to also what might be going on in your pelvic floor area. Those two are very much connected. And then inhale, come back to center. Let the legs lengthen, feet are wide. Now exhale, come forward, a little bit of a straddle on the ball. Lots of length, just keep letting your hips sit back, almost like you're backing up against the wall. Walk your arms out in front as much as you can, keep your feet planted. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Focus on the breath, moving through the body fully and effortlessly. Notice all sensations. Inhale, bend the knees, roll it up nice and slow. Awesome. So you may or may not need a block. So we'll grab one just in case, and you can also just slide it off to the side if it doesn't work for you. All right, so feet are going to be in that same kind of turned out, slight straddle, almost like a high squat or high lunge looking position. Take your block. Let's hinge it forward from the hips. Doesn't have to be pretty, but set the block down in front of you, medium, low, height, whatever you feel like is going to work for you. Sometimes the floor needs to be higher, so you can always go up here as well. All right, left hand on the block. Fold the elbow forward. Let's tuck the right arm. Now, nice, deep, generous breath in. And slowly start to turn your body. Start to exhale into that nice rotation. Now, see how much you can draw the top shoulder back before you consider lifting the top arm. Now, really push through the bottom arm as the fold of the elbow stays facing me. So I want you to try to focus on not letting that bottom fold of the elbow turn to the right, turn to the thumb. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. If you're looking up, bring the chin to the shoulder. If you're looking down,
Bring the chin to the shoulder. Just make it a point to add that rotation into the neck either way. Exhale, lower the top arm down, drop the body towards the floor, move your block, head towards the mat. Just let yourself hang now again. Let the lower back start to decompress even more. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale, come up part way, slide the block back underneath you. Switch hands on the block. Fold of the elbow, so it's a rotation happening from the shoulder, which is helping that shoulder essentially. All right, let's tuck the left arm. Inhale, start to open yourself up. Exhale, finish that rotation without turning the bottom arm towards Highway 60. All right, once you feel like, okay, I'm in a pretty good rotation, feel free to extend the top arm, but find a shoulder with your chin. Don't just let your head be floating out in space. Your neck won't like that very much after a while. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Notice the areas of restriction. Notice where you're fighting with the pose, and where the pose feels a little bit more effortless. See if you can find a happy medium where you work with your body. Exhale, lower down slow. Move the block, let your body hang. Again, this is where your spine kind of decompresses, especially if the neck is stiff, lower back is stiff. Feel free to rock on the ball, rock front to back, rock right to left. Let your body continue to find balance. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, roll up slow. And as you roll up slow, we're going to come off the ball. Now you can be on either side of the ball. It doesn't matter to me. But come off the ball and you're going to come to kneeling. So however that works best for you. If you want to face in, that's great. But from that kneeling position, take your knees wide. I'd say like mat's distance. If that's too wide, just kind of use your own judgment here. Sit back towards the heels. We won't be here long. Walk your arms forward. Now keep thinking about rolling the ball forward as you sink the chest, sink through the underarm, and sink the head towards the floor. Now if you and the floor have not quite met yet, or your head feels like it's hanging at an awkward place, place your block underneath your forehead. If you feel like you need that support for the neck for any reason, that's what the block is there for, lifting the floor up for you. Now just like with the hips, feel free, add just a gentle little rocking. What if I gently try to roll the ball to the right or roll the ball to the left? What happens? Inhale through the nose and exhale. So much of our daily movements, our body slowly starts to create this kind of hook or arch forward from the lower back through the mid-back all the way to the top of the head and forehead. We don't notice it's a gradual progression, but then all of a sudden, bending backwards seems really difficult. Our muscles seize up, our vertebrae, our ribs don't even want to think about moving in that direction anymore. It's like we're frozen in space and time. More and more research is connecting things like high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, even things like reflux and digestive issues to what was called kyphosis, that forward rounding in the upper body, and all of the compression and pressure that the rib cage is putting down on our lower organs. So open up, breathe. See this as a priority for the rest of your body to fall into place. We're going to try to stay here for about 30 more seconds. If that's too much for you for any reason, feel free to drop your arms down. All right, and now roll up slow. Swing the legs around, you're gonna come onto your back. Again, you position yourself as you feel like you can either hear me or see me or any of the above. Come back, keep your ball there by you, and you're gonna put your feet on your ball. Once you're laying down, let's start with the knees bent, and if your ball was a square, think about your feet kind of being on the top side edge of the square. So they're not way on top, it's kind of an awkward position, but they're also not directly on the sides where the ball feels like it could roll away at any moment. Kind of come up onto that arcing edge. All right, feet are about hips distance. You can always go a smidge wider if you need to. Arms are at your sides, knees are at a pretty good 90-degree angle. Now think about pushing into the ball directly with the soles of the feet, not just the heel, the entire foot. Nice deep breath in here. Let's roll it into bridge pose. Exhale, press your spine, your hips off the floor, chin towards the chest as you work to balance on that ball. Now roll your shoulders together, kind of scooch them in. You have a little stability challenge going on here. Maybe interlace the fingers, maybe just push the arms down if you want to use your strap and you have it, great. Think about your tailbone turning up between your thighs, your feet working to balance on the ball. Nice deep breath in. Let your glutes engage. Nice deep breath out. Use your lungs. On the next exhale, wiggle your shoulders free and slowly roll it down. Legs rest on top of the ball, arms come overhead, palms face up. Nice deep breath in here. Focus on your inhale. Nice deep breath out. Relax your body on the exhale. And then arms back down to your sides, rebend the knees. And with the feet in that same similar position again, this time we're going to push out into a reverse plank position. So arms can stay at your sides. We're not going to tuck the shoulders so much this time. Inhale here, push your feet into the floor, into the ball. And as you exhale, lift the hips and start to roll the legs out. Now you're going to balance on the backs of the heels, the backs of the ankles, and the backs of the calves, somewhere around there. Keep tipping the tailbone up between the legs, but do not roll the legs outwards. Try to keep them parallel. You're not very high, but you kind of feel a little bit like a board. Push down through your arms to keep the hips lifted. Inhale through the nose. Nice. Exhale through the nose. Keep breathing. On the next exhale, lower the hips down. Let your legs rest again. You can let them roll out. Arms come overhead just to keep your breathing. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Keep breathing. All right, arms back down to your sides. This time you have two options. One, you're just going to hold that reverse plank, or two, we're going to do an in-out, push-pull type action. I want you to try to keep your hips, though, at the same height. So your hips aren't going to go up and down. Your legs are going to go in and out. So reset yourself up, roll your ball back in. Knees are going to be bent. Feet are kind of on that side edge again. Inhale here. Exhale, lift your hips up. Now you don't need to be overly ambitious because we got to keep them in the same spot. Think about that little tip up with the pubis bone and tailbone. Arms pressed down into the floor. All right, here we go. Inhale, roll the legs out, flex your feet, toes up towards the sky. Keep your hips steady. And then roll them back in, knees bent, feet to the ball. Awesome. Roll it out. Just try to keep your hips nice and steady. And then roll it back in. So the one thing you just want to know is the ball is round. So you might find after a few you have to kind of re-scooch your feet on the ball, or kind of walk the ball back in a hair or two, and so just feel free to do that. Let's see if we can do, what would that be, 5 more here. Nice and slow. Inhale or exhale. The breath here won't really matter whether it's an in-breath or out-breath. Just nice and steady. So there's a difference between I have tight hamstrings and my hamstrings are strong. You can have tight hamstrings and have very weak hamstrings. And many a times you build the strength of the hamstring, and a lot of that tight feeling actually starts to subside. Let's see if we can get that last one in. All right, down slow. Whew. Legs on top of the ball, just let the knees kind of roll open, almost like a bound angle on the ball. Arms overhead again to help induce better breathing. Inhale through the nose. On purpose, take that deep breath. Exhale. One more full breath. Arms down to your sides. All right, last one here, we're going to go back into that reverse plank. So legs go out. If you want to start with them straight out, that's just fine if you want to push them out. But heels are on the back of the ball. Nice deep breath in here. Push down into your ball. Lift your hips. Chin towards the chest. Arms push into the floor. Tailbone and pubis bone towards the ceiling. Keep pushing your heels into the mat. Sorry, into the ball. We're going to try to lift the right leg off the ball. Even just a hair, maybe towards the sky. So anywhere in between there. Just see if you can get that leg off the ball without rotating the bottom leg out. Let's go 5, wherever you are. 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the leg down, regroup, breathe. Let's try the opposite side. Push it into the ball and lift the other leg. Keep breathing, keep your hips up. You got this. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set the leg down, set the hips down, roll the knees in, ball behind the hamstrings and calves, arms overhead, palms up, and again, purposefully take that deep breath. Arms down to your sides. Bend the knees. Place the feet back onto the ball. Now take your right leg and bring your right leg up to the sky. Just roll the ankle. Just a little bit of movement there. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee for a little figure 4. Take your free arm. That's going to be the arm with the right leg, the top leg. And you're going to grab hold underneath the bottom hamstring or over the top shin. It might work better with the hamstring since we're holding onto the ball. Flex the floating foot, that's the leg on top, and start to draw that bottom leg in, keeping your hips on the floor. I always think about it, it's like I'm trying to unroll a yoga mat. You're trying to unroll your pelvis back onto the floor, your tailbone back onto the floor. Versus when you pull the leg in, the hips curl up, the tailbone, the glutes all pop up. And you're getting a stretch, but you're not really getting the kind of stretch we want to go for. Runaway ball! I got you. Nice deep breath in. And feel free. You don't even have to pull in. If you'd rather just focus on pushing out with one hand on the cross-legged thigh, keeping your hips from swinging, by all means, you're still going to get a nice hip stretch. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. All right, let's release that out. Top leg goes to the sky. And then drop that foot back to the ball. Opposite leg comes up. Roll the ankle. When is the last time you did this today? To your leg, to your ankle, to your foot. All right, ankle crosses over the knee, figure 4. At a minimum, I'm just going to work to cross this action. Don't ever underestimate the fact that this happens automatically for you. The ankle goes onto the knee at a fair amount of ease. All of a sudden, our body gets to a point, and this isn't so easy. drawing that appreciation for the body and its amazing capabilities. By all means, you can just press that crossed leg thigh out using the hand without trying to let the hips swing the other way. You're going to get a nice resistance stretch there. Otherwise, grab hold and you're drawing in without letting the hips pick up, maybe pushing that top leg's thigh away. Inhale through the nose. Great. Exhale through the nose. We don't need the most intense stretch. We just need something worth breathing into. Keeping our mind alert, our body willing to continue to let go. Let that out. Top leg comes up just to release the hip, and then the foot comes down. All right, roll off to your side. Just kind of keep tabs on your ball here. Bring yourself up. You're going to come up to a tabletop facing your ball. And as you come up to a tabletop facing your ball, forearms onto the ball. We'll actually make a fist and wrap the opposite hand around the fist, or you can interlace the fingers. Elbows will be about shoulder height. Think about having your arms not so much on top of the ball, but again at a slight angle. I want you to think about pounding a stake in. So your fists are going to do all they can to push into the ball. Now curl the toes under. Feet will go mat's distance. Here we'll go a little wide stride. And as you push into the ball, you're going to come up into a plank. Although we're not going to be here. So I actually have to use my core to push down in order to hold steady for this kind of unstable plank here. Now I can by all means, be in a kneeling position, and I can still work the core muscles effectively. We're going to try to count down here from 10. Here we go. 10, 9, keep pushing the fist down. 8, 7, push away from the ball. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now push your hips back and move it into a little down dog on the ball. So hands on the ball, keep rolling the ball forward, or the intention is there. Sink the head between the arms as your hips go up high against the wall behind you. Now let your spine, like a drawbridge, just slowly start to come down. That stiff point in the middle of the back where your spine is starting to say, I don't go this way anymore. Just start to remind it that, yes, you can. Just over time, nice and slow, I'll continue to encourage you to be mobile in all directions. Breathe. All right, inhale, slowly lift the head as you come back down to kneeling and position the pelvis on the ball now. As you come onto the ball, I would say like rib cage to maybe pubis bone. Now if you have a really short torso, it's going to feel more like chest to hips, okay? So just kind of gauge that as you need to. Feet are still going to stay mat's distance. Lift the knees. All right, so your toes are your kickstands, or the balls of the feet are your kickstands. Exhale, just let yourself sink down around the ball. And as you sink down around the ball, hands interlace back behind you. Now if the hands don't clasp comfortably, feel free to grab your strap. All right, shoulders roll in. Nice deep breath in here. Exhale, pull your knuckles to the wall behind you and lift yourself up here into a nice little variation of Ardha Salabhasana or Cobra. Inhale through the nose, feel the shoulder blades roll in. Exhale through the nose. You might even get a nice little fascial stretch here through the groin from the traction against the ball. Use your back muscles to bring your torso upright. Inhaling and exhaling. And then exhale down slow, drape over the ball. So walk the feet forward. You can kind of do a little play, rock forward, rock back. Let the back muscles release. Nothing fancy here, but just again a nice opportunity to decompress the spine. All right, reset yourself up in a similar position again. So feet are gonna go with max distance. You're on the ball again. We have a nice little inverted cobra. So working with gravity a little differently. Knees are gonna come up. Think about your pubis bone going into the ball. You're gonna come vertical, so I'm using my back muscles to take me upright. And now my arms are gonna go to cactus, palms face in. Chin is level with the floor. Now welcome to your traps, your upper back. Okay, just kind of check that shoulder level if it's somewhat reasonable. All right, so on the inhalation, we're gonna try to push our arms up towards the ceiling behind our head. Think about them being out of your vision line. And then just pull them wide again, cactus style. Let's go on the exhale. So exhale, push up, reach, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 5 more. Here we go. Inhale. Use your back muscles. Exhale. Press through your heels. Inhale. 4. Exhale. Inhale. 3. Exhale. Inhale. 2. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, shoot the arms alongside the ears. Let's hold this Ardha Salabhasana. Let's hold 5, 4, keep reaching, 3, 2, and 1. Release it down. Melt over your ball again. Release the spine. Little rock forward, little rock back. Happy back. Awesome. And then slowly bring yourself upright. All right, you have 2 options here. One, you can kind of do the run and glide mentality, not literally run, but roll and glide is probably a little bit better. Or we can literally just step up onto the ball, and I can help you too. It sometimes is easier to start a little bit further back on the ball, and what you're going to end up doing is just walking out flat, so that the pelvis and the thighs are on the ball, kind of like below the belly button is on the ball, but definitely not like just belly, if that makes sense. If you feel like, I don't know about that, then I can come over by you and literally just hold the ball as you step your legs up onto the ball. So let me know. But start further back on your mat, that way you're on your mat. If you feel like the floor is maybe not quite reliable or comfortable for you, put your hands on. If you need help, just say hey. Alright, so nice long spine. Use the strength of your glutes and hamstrings now to pick your legs up so they're not just kind of hanging there. Nice long arms. Nice broad back. Nice deep breath in. Try lifting your left leg up now, higher off the ball, without letting your belly crash towards the floor. So use your core strength, use your glute, try to get that leg off the ball. Hold 5. Ardha Salabhasana. Hold 4. 3, 2, set that leg down, inhale. Exhale, try lifting the other leg. Try to bring it up off the ball to the best of your ability. Hold it there. Keep breathing. Keep using the strength of your lower belly. You're almost resisting with your core in a sense. Hold 3, hold 2, hold 1. Now just take a break, inhale. Now try lifting both legs. Keep your lower core nice and strong. Press away from the floor with your arms. Keep breathing. You're going to feel like, why can't I get my legs up very high? Hold 5. Hold 4. Press long through your arms. Hold 3. Hold 2. Exhale, release, and drape over the ball. Rock a little forward, rock a little back. Stay with your breathing. All right, and then wherever you are, if you're more comfortable on your mat, feel free to come up and readjust. Otherwise, bring yourself up and go back into that kind of half down dog. So hands on the ball, head sinks down, chest sinks down, underarm sinks down. Keep pushing the ball forward. There's an intention of length here as your hips think about scooching up against the wall behind you. Breathe. Feel free to bend and straighten the legs a few times. Do you feel like there's just a little bit more wiggle room that you're not quite stepping into? Move your body. Breathe. Inhale, roll up slow. Awesome. All right, put the ball in its little holster. And as you bring the ball into its holster, grab your blocks. Now I want you to set a block at each end of your mat. And step your feet open into a straddle. All right, so let's just checkpoint our pelvis. So if you have a sticky lower back, you probably have some sort of stickiness in the pelvis going on. So just notice how willing it is for you to jack the left hip up and really sink the right hip in. Now you might feel some pull on the inner groin that's limiting the pelvis, and then do the same thing on the opposite side. If we want yoga poses, we have to actually be able to move before we even think about them. So how well does our pelvis move? How much can I kick that right hip up? And it's really going to be the left hip that's not letting it do it. It's kind of like child on the hip. And then do the same thing on the opposite side. Can I bring my left hip up, and that right hip kind of has to give it permission? And then try the opposite side. Does anyone know that you feel like you can do one side better than the other? It's like, oh, one side talks to my brain and the other side is definitely a foreign language. All right, and then bring it back to center again. Arms open up to T. Think about pelvic neutral, so my glutes are engaging underneath me. They're supporting me. My lower belly is supporting me. We're going to move to the right. Now that's an obvious movement with the upper body, but I want you to have it happen in the pelvis first. So I have to kick my hips to the left and then slide off the pelvis. Lower the bottom arm down, palm towards me. Top arm comes up. Now keep the tailbone anchored like a boat anchor as you reach through the top arm. So my glutes are engaging. My left hip is opening. Inhale through the nose. Now firm up through the thigh muscles. I'm looking up or down. Remember that neck. It's part of the spine. Let's go 5. Keep breathing. Nice little variation of triangle. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, pull up with the top arm as the hips slide back underneath you. So again, this happens a lot automatically. We forget that this has to also move freely. So now hips are going to move to the right. Okay, how much is that willing to kick out for you? And then you topple off to the left. Not at the sacrifice of pushing the booty back. So even though it's a variation of triangle, triangle is a lateral movement. It's not a forward bend. And when we start to try to get to the floor, eventually we forward bend and we start to deroute the movement. So I want you to just try to move laterally. How willing is your hips and pelvis? Engage the glutes down to open up that right side body. Now either chin to shoulder or chin to shoulder. Breathe. If you're feeling tightness, that lower back is going, yes, please release me. Now inhale, as you pull up through the top arm, pull your hips underneath you. Think about that process happening. All right, let's turn the foot out now to the left, right, and then the back foot in. Level out the hips. Again, now we're level. Bend the front knee. And I want you to open your stride up enough so that the front knee can stay on top of the ankle. We're not kicking a hip anymore. Now we're level again. That means the glutes are engaging to support us. Our belly is engaging to support us. Arms reach out, relax the shoulders down, and as we start to drip into lateral angle, front forearm to the thigh, I'm hooking my tailbone to my heel to get that stretch through the hip socket. Now take your top arm, bend it, palm towards the head, and stretch the arm alongside the ears, minimal pressure on that bottom arm. As you push into the back heel, pull the front belly in. Try to untuck your shirt, tuck tightly into your left hip. Breathe. Again, I'm looking up or down. Wherever you go with your neck, make the spine get involved. Now inhale, top arm comes up, you come up, front leg lengthens, arms come to T, exhale down slow. Let's do the opposite side. So foot turns in, opposite foot turns out. I'm leveling the hips. Okay, now bending the front knee. Remember, adjust your stride accordingly. You don't need the longest stride, but you gotta have a stride that you can actually maintain. And then glutes engage underneath you. They're supporting your lower back. Belly is supporting your lower back. Arms reach out. Exhale as the front arm comes to the thigh. You're almost just slightly encouraging that lunge just a hair more as you press firmly into the back leg and hook your glutes and tailbone to that heel. You're leaning your belly into your back, if that makes sense. And then top arm comes up, palm to the head. I'm lengthening through my hairline and exaggerating that reach. That's going to intensify the length down the side canal of your body. Breathe. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Now exhale, top arm drops down. Let's roll it into a straddle, nice and slow. Feet turn parallel, head sinks down, breathe. Bend your knees, walk your feet in. And as you walk your feet in, we're going to come to kneeling facing the windows or facing to the right. So rotate. And from your tabletop, drag your right leg forward. So right leg's going to pull forward, as far forward as you can, so that femur bone's pointing forward. And then you're spinning the shin and heel out to the side. So the femur bone's not turning out to the side, the lower leg is. Take your back leg, it should be right behind your hip, not to the right or to the left. And try to square your hips a little bit more. So right now you're kind of upright, you're kind of floating. The back leg is slid as far back as it can go, but I'm actually trying to draw the left hip forward and sit into my right glute cheek just a little bit more. Now from here, let's come upright, crown of the head to the sky. There's your groin stretch. So we're going up, and then exhale, start to slowly lower yourself down. Now this is where feel free, if you need that block under the glute, or you'd rather have it support the forehead, you're welcome to do that. So again, we're going to take, I cannot bend my knee that way, this one. So then come onto your back, and you're going to do figure 4. So you're going to do this guy that we did at the beginning.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yep, so it's kind of its sister. You got it. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out.
Go for one more minute. Just nice calm breath in. Nice calm breath out. Inhale, slowly rise. And I want you to actually rock to your right. That's your pigeon hip. And drag your back leg forward. As you do that, bring the bottoms of the feet together in bound angle. You just kind of rock to create a little bit of balance. You have one hip that's done some stretching and one hip that maybe is feeling a little left out. Crown of the head towards the sky. Grab hold of the ankles or the feet. And just bring yourself into a little bound angle. I just love bound angle as a nice reset pose, just to kind of even things out. Draw the shoulders back, take a couple breaths. This is again where you draw gratitude for your body, that your body goes here. It may not be perfect, it might not be in our head what we want it to be, but it goes there. Breathe. All right, inhale, rise. Your left leg, that was the back leg or the bottom leg. Extend that leg out to the side. So left leg goes out to the left. Take your opposite, so if I face you, just take your foot that's bent, the knee that's bent, either touch the thigh or bring it in front of the pelvis. It doesn't really matter. But you look like a straddle. You don't look like a parallel forward bend, okay? Straddle. Awesome. All right, so from here, nice deep breath in here. Sit really tall. Take your right hand, place it down and off to the side at the right. We're going to move into tripod stretch or three-point stretch. Inhale, roll up, free arm rolls across the face, and let's move into a nice little three-point stretch. So I'm trying to roll my top arm back behind my head as my pelvis leans forward. Now use a little bit of glute strength to help encourage opening through the hips, but reach toes to upper fingertips. It's like drawing a bow and arrow. That tightness through the underarm, through the belly, through the pelvis, through the hip are all starting to pull apart. Let's go 3, 2. Now to come out, let your top arm roll back down across your face towards the knee as you sit back out to the hips. Slowly take your straight leg back in, bound angle. Nice and tall up through the crown of the head. You choose how you want to fold forward. Elbows to the inner thighs. Hands can support you on the floor. Arms can walk out in front. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Inhale, roll up. Knees come together. Back into tabletop. And then from your tabletop, this time that left leg is going to pull forward. Left leg comes forward as far as you can go. Shin walks off to the side. Try to square the hips. Let the back leg lengthen straight behind you, or straight behind its hip socket. And then if you're in that pigeon, you're going to just get yourself a little bit of upright length, and then exhale, start to come forward. Feel free, again, that variation of figure forward. Now, this might be a stretch for you into the hamstring, this might be into the groin, this might be into the inner thigh, this might go into the sacrum. So just kind of recognize that depending on what Pinocchio strings are being pulled on, you might get a wide variety of release. And for the next 2 minutes, just focus on your breathing, focus on feeling.
Focus on sensation, no judgment of any kind to those sensations. Can you just stay the observer? And as things start to melt away, as sensations rise and fall, if your body feels encouraged to make an adjustment, do so. Your mind wanders away. Bring your breath back. Come back to sensation. And stay here for just a few more moments. Slow. You're in that pigeon, you're going to rock to the left, drag the back leg forward. Find yourself in bound angle, a little reset for the hips. Up tall through the crown of the head, down slow into bound angle. Again, if the knees are giving you some trouble, push the heels further forward. Nice deep breath in, and nice deep breath out. Rest. This time, right leg goes out to that 45-degree angle. Left foot pulls in towards the pubis bone or towards the thigh. You're sitting nice and tall. Take that left hand, place it down, kind of at a distance back from the thigh. As you roll off the hips, arm rolls across the face, honoring that top shoulder, and you're pushing out of the bottom shoulder to help the hips launch forward. Now, head can drop back, head can look down. Just find a place that's appropriate for the neck. Stretch, fingertips to toes, breathe. Down slow. Take your time. Body and feet together, bound angle. Nice and tall. Exhale one more time, hinge forward. Breathe. Inhale up slow. Slowly roll the body back up. And as you bring your body back up, take your block width and roll onto your back. Once on your back, give your knees a nice hug, rock on your spine, a little compression, a little sweetness. And as you acclimate yourself to the floor, as your body starts to feel a little content, back on your mat, take your block, set your feet down, and place that block underneath the hips. Sacrum feels secure on the block. And then with your knees bent, just start out by extending the right leg out long and slowly bring the left leg in. Now either hold underneath the hamstring or on top of the shin, or if you need your strap, by all means use that. keep reaching through the lower leg's heel, toes towards the sky, and gently start to guide the bent knee in. Now it's not a one size fits all, so you might benefit more from pulling the knee wide and drawing it in. But see if you can start to feel a stretch in the pull sensation through the groin of the straight leg. That might go all the way down into the knee, that might come all the way up into the abdomen, but I don't want you to have it in the back. So if you're feeling that in the back, I want you to come off the block and do the same pose. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Now with that awareness of the body heightened, the heel of the straight leg, try to pull that into the center line about 2 inches. Slide it into the midline. And then continue to reach. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Full breath, soft jaw. Slowly let the bent leg lengthen out. Arms overhead, let the legs just kind of flap open. Take a moment, pause. Now that stiffness may be present, especially if the hip flexors are really used to being held tight in a flexed position. Be as calm as you can. Breathe. Now arms down to your sides. Bend up the knees and just let the knees pull into the chest. Maybe hold the edge of the block and let your knees just fall into your belly. Your sacrum against the top edge of the block. Gently rock your hips side to side. So you have that foam edge kind of rubbing into the top edge of the sacrum. Just a nice little release here for some of those back tissues. You might get a sweet spot. And feel free just to kind of hang there. All right, hips back on the block, feet to the floor just for a moment because in case you've shifted, sometimes you feel a little off after moving back and forth. All right, opposite leg extends out, toes towards the ceiling. Start to bring the bent leg in, so you've switched legs now. Hands to the hamstring, to the shin, or use your strap. Gently start to draw the knee in as you reach through the heel. And remember, we kind of pulled the heel a little closer to the midline. That tightness tends to wing the leg out. And so it's always nice just to kind of say, hey, let's try this. And as you breathe and continue to create awareness of your body, just remember, sometimes where our body can go isn't always where it should go. Especially in a pose like this, we may be able to pull the knee in significantly far, but then we skip all of that experience from where we started to where we are right now. So think about it as a layered approach. I'm going to peel one layer of the onion off at a time. That means I have to be patient, which is a whole nother muscle. But allow your body to move layer by layer, because what if that third layer, that top layer, that fifth layer is the reason why the back hurts or the knee hurts or the hip hurts? But if we keep going to layer 12 or layer 20, because that's where I can go the deepest, we may never achieve that point of release that we're looking for. So we're just going to stay here a few more rounds of breath. Again, tongue off the roof of the mouth, soften the bottom jaw away from the top teeth. slowly let that leg out. I'm just gonna let it go long to start, let blood flow go back in. Arms overhead, let the feet roll out, let the knees roll out, breathe calmly. And if your day was stressful, if your day was heavy, for any reason, just feel that heaviness roll off your body right now. Let that feel good. Let that feel relieving. Like you can walk out of here and be ready for a great night. Now slowly draw the knees in. Hold on to the block. Let the knees fall into the belly. Give yourself that little massage again with the back edge of the block rubbing up against the sacrum. If you get those little sweet spots where it might feel a little sore, a little tender, just use the foam edge. You just go, okay, I'm just going to see if I can maybe loosen or massage this a little bit more. And your body will be so thankful. From here, gently lower the feet to the floor. Lift your hips to remove the block. And then extend the legs out, one to each corner of the mat to keep the hips really happy here. Toes turn out. Broaden out the back, either arms at your sides or make your snow angel on the floor till your shoulders find your sweet spot. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Use as many deep exhalations as you need to for your body to feel as content as possible on the floor. I will come around with some China gel this evening if you'd like some.